I'm just trying to teach. Hello, hello, all those beautiful faces. How we doing? Stephanie checking in with another episode of Class Disruption. And today we're doing yet another update on the New York City school reopening. We've been in for a couple weeks, at least teachers, not students, and we're going to go over the continuing unfolding controversy and all that. But before we get into it, I need you to smash that like button. If you're new here, I love your beautiful face. Hit that subscribe button and that bell so you can get notified every time I drop a video. And let me know in those comments down below. Where are you checking in from? How is your school reopening going? Whether you're a teacher, a parent, or a student, let us know. And of course, I need you to share this video. That is the most important thing that you could do to spread disruption to a class near you. And actually, before we get straight into the video, I just wanted to let you know I'm trying to keep this one short and sweet because I'm working on a lot of content on my other YouTube channel, Making History with Miss Edmonds. Content over there is geared more towards my students and any families or teachers who are looking for videos to assist them in their global history curriculum. So go on over there, check that out. I got a video coming out tomorrow, episode 2, and I'd appreciate your support over there. And also, I want to give a shout out to my boy, Shawn, for helping me out with this video that's coming out tomorrow. He's one of the people who's going to be featured in that. I'm sharing their stories.
And we went to the party with him.
Oh, yeah, he had a party for the kids. He's always doing stuff for the community. He actually owns a small business and lives on the same block he grew up on. His business is COQUITO. Got COQUITO? He's got the best stuff in the Bronx. So I've linked all his stuff in the description down below. Make sure you go check him out. Buy some love. Show him some love and buy some COQUITO. I promise it is the best COQUITO in the whole Bronx. And that's a high bar. We know that.
He lives in the Bronx?
He lives in the Bronx. He lives right near the park where we had the party at Pelham Bay Park.
Like not where you work.
Not where I work, because I work over in Fordham.
Mommy, I was trying to live in
the Bronx?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe when you get a little bit bigger and, you go off on your own, you can move to the Bronx. Okay?
I drive a car.
You want to drive a car there? Who can deny all that cuteness? I mean, I'm trying to keep them quiet over there, but it is Sunday morning. We're trying to do this real quick, so let's do it real quick and get into it. So like I said, we're giving an update on the New York City reopening. Teachers have been back in the building, well, at least those without medical accommodations, since September 8th, including me. And now it is going into the week of the last week of September, and this week is the week that now students are supposed to be coming back into the buildings. It starts with the elementary and middle schools, and by the end of the week, high schools will be back in as well. At least that is supposed to be how it is. If you've been following anything, the start was already delayed over a week, and let's just look at some tweets that I have lined up for us because that will explain more of it if you haven't quite been following along. Me, I'm trying not even to follow along right now. I'm trying to focus on my students and making the best content that I can make for them, like I said, over at Making History with Miss Edmonds. But I am also trying to do a video here at least once a week. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already so you keep up with us. But let's look at this tweet over here because this tweet really tells us about the most recent unfolding in what's going on here between teachers and the UFT and the DOE and the parents and the students and the principals. And so basically late on Friday night, you can see right here, September 25th, 5:30 p.m. So everybody's already at home into their long weekend, Rosh Hashanah. And the UFT reached an agreement with the DOE today. All UFT represented employees in all job titles who have no on-site duties or responsibilities have the option to work remotely. But actually in the fine print, it says that this does not start until October 5th. So very important to note there. So this coming week, as we're transitioning back into school, this does not apply. And of course, that's because principals already have a staffing crunch, and this is going to make it even harder for them. And the comments down below, Brian, he's a UFT. He works for the UFT. So, of course, he's proud of this. He sees the inside and, that's his incentive. But UFT is not necessarily super happy about this. This is not going to bring unity. This is going to bring a divide between everyone in the school building and everyone remote. You know how much favoritism there is in school buildings. They are already divided now. Lord help us. And then I replied to this saying, you're right. This has already happened to an extent with those in person versus those on accommodation. And I put that in quotes because, I do think that a lot of people truly need accommodations. Other ones I'm not so sure about, but it is what it is, right? It's petty either way because what I do is my choice, right? This isn't about other people. This isn't about other people. This is about you. It is. Going into the building is my choice, not because of a contract. Just like anything I do, I don't do this because of my contract. I do this because it is my choice to do this. And you always do have that choice to quit, right? You got to own what you do. And that's what class disruption is all about, is owning what you do. And then, of course, in response to this, Amir, he's somebody who I definitely interact a lot with on Twitter. I respect his opinion. I don't always agree with him. He's an administrator, so he too has a different perspective than me as a teacher. But I agree with this 100%, right? And this has really been a summer in the making, longer than that even. I mean, the DOE... It's too big, which is what I'm going to get to. Serious question. Why is the DOE spiraling out of control? Friday night Twitter dumps are disrespectful. School starts in person on Tuesday. What in the world? And exactly, what are they thinking? And I have to get the tweet up here because I just saw the tweet this morning and I retweeted it saying that it summarizes the DOE in 3 words and an emoji. But Eliza, she comes in and she is a New York Times reporter who focuses on education. I follow her a lot. Again, sometimes I agree with her takes, sometimes I disagree with her takes, but she definitely is on it, always keeping us updated. And she let us know in response to that Friday night Twitter dump, the principals union set out a message about DeBlasio this morning after yet another last minute announcement last night. And so they are not happy, obviously. The Chancellor and his team have once again demonstrated a complete lack of respect for school leaders as we still wait for the DOE to release information regarding the new memorandum they signed just before the close of business yesterday. An agreement the press have already reported on. It astounds us that they seemingly have no plans to notify debrief principals who must now somehow find a way to implement their new agreement before it was distributed widely. We have already expressed our continuing exasperation with both the Chancellor and Mayor regarding the DOE's inability to announce these last-minute changes in policy through proper and professional protocols, as well as the tremendous impact these changes have on your planning. CSA will now be calling for an emergency executive board meeting, and we will share more on our response to their failed leadership. And that, I don't blame them. Again, yeah, it's a long weekend, right? So they do it on Friday night. That means we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and that's our long weekend, right? Again, I'm not one to waive the contract, but at the same time, there are lines. And so that means that by Tuesday opening, principals have to have come up with a whole new plan, updated any teachers about it. And I guess that's why the October 5th start date. So technically they have this week to implement it. But among the million other things that are going on, it's just nuts. And that leads us to this next tweet here put out by Jillian Jorgensen, another New York Times reporter who also focuses a lot on education. And she says, the sheer amount of rumors flying among NYC school staff right now has got to be at an all-time high. And this is so true. Just from, like I said, we have the people who are in school versus those who are out of school, and how those out of school are not necessarily doing as much work as those in school, because if we're in school and kids are coming into the buildings, that means, we're not teaching our classes. In addition to doing whatever planning and else we're doing, like those at home, we're also watching kids and doing things like that. So, and then just what is correct, what is incorrect, what is policy, what is not policy. It's just constantly changing. And it leads to confusion, like things like this, where, again, this is below the UFT's new agreement. This person Tom Richardson said, I just use a car day. So a car day is like days you have saved up for if you need to take a sick day. When I was denied entry into the building due to a screening. So every day you either have to fill out a health form or you have to take your temperature. So I guess one of those he failed. And so he said I had to work remotely that day, and I lost the day, work for free. And then now you're saying, oh, if you can't work on site, you can work remotely, and that's in contract. But I'm like, whoa. They've already actually taken care of this. So whoever made you use a car day was wrong, right? So I told him this. He's like, no, my pay secretary said I missed the day. And I was like, no, they sent out this notice. And then he said, here's the email they sent. His let's see, AP sent this. This is crazy. I'm sorry to hear, but if you are not experiencing COVID-related symptoms, you should not check yes since you were told not to enter the building due to the failed screening. It would be best to see a doctor. If you think this is a continuous problem, you should apply to accommodation. Unfortunately, as per HR in my secretary's meeting yesterday, principals cannot give staff members permission to work from home. You do not have an approved accommodation, so yesterday will be a deduction from your car. And that is, first of all, as if I were a principal or an AP, and my person said I failed the screen, but I continue to work from home, I would make sure that they didn't have to have that from their car, no matter what. That's just ridiculous. Second of all, they put out policy, and payroll secretaries and principals, I know for a fact, were informed. So I'm not sure where this is coming from, but I replied to him. I said, no, we got this email. Our principal sent us to this, and shout out to my principal for his continuing and ongoing transparency. Mr. Bearcat, you're the man. And you can see clearly right here, an employee who is exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19 but who's not tested positive for COVID-19 may take an excused leave at full pay for up to 2 weeks. Such employees must not report to work other than telework for 10 days after the symptoms started or for 3 days after the fever has stopped, whichever is longer. So you can see this person clearly should not have been docked a car day, and they continue to work from home. Like, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, honestly, if there's no kids in the building, really? Is that what we're doing here? And so this brings me kind of to my concluding point. Oh, wait, no, I wanted to bring up that one tweet where it summarizes basically the DOE and the UFT in a few words. It is magic. Okay, boom, here it is. Guidance forthcoming. And this was in response to something Amir had said, where are the protocols for the random testing of students and staff? And she says, guidance is forthcoming. And I'm like, this is their, it should say perpetual. You hate that. Existence summarized in 3 words and an emoji. I'm going to have to retweet this so I can get it right. But that is the summary. They just, guidance is forthcoming. Guidance is forthcoming. Which brings me to my conclusion. The system is too big. Break it up. The system is too big. A principal should be able to go into their school, see what is best for their school, and make that decision. So I'm sorry, more UFT, which is one of the caucus in the United Federation of Teachers. They are the People's Caucus. It says it should not be up to individual schools to decide how and when to keep students and New York City staff safe. And it falls on the failed leadership of New York City Mayor, the DOE Chancellor, which our union has been complicit in. And I agree with that second part of the sentence, the failed leadership from all 3, the mayor, the chancellor, the UFT. And yes, this does fall on them because technically they're in charge. But I think it is only evidence to show that it is too big. Perhaps there is an executive out there who would be able to properly manage this and do it right. But I think that would be the absolute exception. The system is too big. And you see these small schools, these private schools. Okay, yes, some of them are really, really well-funded, super elite schools. But I saw the other day one of my students walking her younger sister to, it looked like a private, either Catholic school or Christian school, some type of parochial school. She was wearing a uniform. And they have in-person schooling because they only have to make a decision for their small community. And when it's just your small community and your one building, you can make it happen. You can communicate with those players in that building instead of 1,800 different schools and however many different school leaders on top of that and the payroll secretaries and all these layers. It is just ridiculous. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just doing my thing, right? Over at Making History, Miss Edmonds, I'm over the complaining. I'm over all of that, right? I want to be back in school. I think we should be back in the buildings. At least, I put out a video a couple weeks ago about it with mitigation efforts, not everybody all at the same time. But I do think we should be back in the buildings. And as a teacher, I'm willing to just do what I need to do for my students to make that happen. I'm putting all this drama, all this stuff to the side. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm not going to be really doing any other updates on this unless there's something really huge and I have to cover it. But I'm ready to get my year on. I'm ready to get on with other topics. I want to talk about nice white parents. I want to talk about things going on with the presidential race. I want to talk about school choice. I want to have more conversations with educators. And so that is what I am focusing on right now. I want to know, what are you focusing on? What's the situation with your school? Are you just over it? How is the first weeks of class going? How are you connecting with your students? And what are you looking forward to in the coming months? Let me know all that in the comments down below. If you haven't already, I don't even know what to say at this point other than smash that like button. If you're new here, I love that beautiful face. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I drop a video. And of course, share this video. That is the most important thing that you could ever do to spread this disruption to a class near you. So keep at it. Keep doing your work if you're a student. Keep working hard if you're a teacher. If you're a parent, communication is the key. And until next time, stay foolish, y'all.